You ever think about what's actually out there on that land before you buy it? Not just the acreage or the price, but what's living on it. That's what we're getting into today. Hey, welcome back to the Land Buyer's Guide. I'm Scott Thomas with landparker.com, and if you're new here, we talk about everything related to buying rural land, finding it, affording it, and actually living on it. Today we're talking wildlife, specifically how to stay safe and comfortable when you're out there camping, scouting property, or starting to build your off-grid life. And look, this isn't meant to scare anybody. Wildlife is honestly one of the best parts of owning rural land. We'll get to that. But a little bit of knowledge goes a long way. So let's just dig in. First thing I'd say before you head out to any piece of land, whether you're scouting it as a potential buy or you already own it, take a few minutes to figure out what animals are common in that region, because it really does vary a lot. What you're dealing with in the Pacific Northwest is totally different from the Texas Hill Country, or the Florida wetlands, or the Appalachian Mountains. These are just different worlds when it comes to wildlife. Your state's Fish and Wildlife Agency is a great starting point. They usually have solid info on what species are active and when. And honestly, talking to neighboring landowners or a local outfitter is just as valuable. These folks know the land. They'll tell you things you won't find in any database. Seasonal patterns matter too. Bear activity tends to pick up in the fall when they're putting on weight before winter. Snakes are more active in the warmer months. Deer get a little more unpredictable during rut season. Knowing that kind of stuff just helps you feel prepared rather than caught off guard. And when you first arrive at a site, take a slow look around before you set up anything. Tracks in the soft dirt, scratched up tree bark, disturbed ground, those are signs that something's been through recently. It's not a reason to leave. It's just good situational awareness. Now let's talk camp setup, because how you arrange your campsite actually makes a real difference in whether wildlife wanders in or stays away. The big thing here is keeping your sleeping area, your cooking area, and your food storage in 3 separate spots. There's this triangle layout that gets talked about a lot, putting at least 200 feet between each of those 3 zones. The idea is simple. You don't want your food smells right next to where you're sleeping. Store your food in a bear-resistant container if you have one. If not, hanging it from a tree works. You want it at least 10 feet off the ground and a few feet out from the trunk so nothing can reach it from above. And when possible, set your cooking area downwind from where you're sleeping. Scent travels, and you'd rather it drift away from you than towards you. One thing a lot of people skip: don't eat inside your tent, even just snacks. Food smell gets into the fabric and it lingers. That's an invitation you don't want to send. Keeping a clean camp kind of goes hand in hand with all of that. Wash your dishes right after you eat. Wipe down the cooking surface. Bag up your trash and store it with your food, not sitting near your tent. Animals have an incredible sense of smell, and even small amounts of food residue can draw them in overnight. If you're in bear country specifically, it's worth skipping the heavily scented personal care products. Strong perfumes, scented lotions, those kinds of things can attract curiosity. Just something to keep in mind. Same goes for pet food. If you're out there with a dog, don't leave their bowl sitting outside overnight. Secure it just like you would your own food. So what do you actually do if you come across an animal? The honest answer is, most encounters are totally uneventful. The animal sees you, you see the animal, and everyone goes their separate way. But it's still worth knowing the basics. With bears, make some noise while you're hiking, talking, clapping, a bear bell. You're not trying to be loud and obnoxious, you just don't want to surprise one at close range. If you spot one from a distance, give it space and back away slowly. No sudden movements. If one approaches you, stand your ground. Talk in a calm, steady voice. Try to look as big as you can. Don't run. One thing worth knowing: black bears and grizzly bears are handled differently if things escalate. It's worth looking up the specific species in your region and understanding the distinction. And bear spray is worth carrying in areas with known bear activity, as long as you actually know how to use it before you need it. For snakes, it's mostly about watching where you're putting your hands and feet. Around rocks, logs, tall grass, just slow down and pay attention. At night, use a flashlight when you're walking around camp. And in the morning, shake out your boots before you put them on. Most snake bites happen because someone got too close without realizing it. Give them room to move off, and they usually will. Mountain lions are rare, but if you're out west, they're out there. Keep kids and pets close, especially at dusk and dawn. If you run into one, make eye contact, make yourself look large, and back away without turning your back on it. Coyotes are more common and generally pretty cautious around people. A little noise and assertive body language usually sends them off. And then there's the smaller stuff: ticks, mosquitoes, spiders. Use a good insect repellent with DEET or picaridin in areas where ticks are common. Check yourself and your pets after coming in from wooded or grassy terrain. Keep your tent zipped when you're not going in and out. Little critters will move into a warm, dark space if the door is open long enough. Now, for anyone who's actually building out a homestead or planning to keep animals on their land, this stuff gets a little more specific. Foxes, coyotes, raccoons, hawks, they're going to be interested in your chickens and rabbits and small livestock. That's just reality. Hardware cloth instead of regular chicken wire makes a big difference for keeping predators out of enclosures. Standard chicken wire has gaps that are too wide, and some animals can tear through it. Bringing small animals inside at night is really the most reliable protection. Motion-activated lights around coops can also work as a deterrent. If you've got open land and you're raising animals out there, a livestock guardian dog is something a lot of experienced homesteaders swear by. Certain breeds are just built for that job. Here's the thing, though, and I want to come back to this. Wildlife isn't the enemy. It really isn't. Deer coming through at the edge of your property in the early morning, a hawk riding the thermals overhead, hearing the woods come alive after dark, that's honestly some of the best stuff about owning rural land. It's what a lot of people are actually looking for when they decide to get out of the city and get back to something more real. All of these tips are just about being thoughtful and prepared, not fearful. With a basic understanding of what's in your area and a few solid habits: clean camp, proper food storage, knowing how to respond calmly if you cross paths with something, you're in good shape. Most people who spend real time in nature will tell you that wildlife encounters become some of their best memories. Not something they dread, but something they look forward to. So if you're thinking about buying land and you're wondering whether all of this feels manageable, it absolutely is. A little preparation and it just becomes part of the lifestyle. If you want to check out available properties, head over to landparker.com. We have rural vacant land across the country, and a lot of it is priced well below market with owner financing available, sometimes as low as $100 down and $100 a month. It's a straightforward way to get into land ownership without a big bank loan or a complicated process. Browse what's available, ask questions, and see if something feels like the right fit. We'd love to help you find your piece of land. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.